First off, to Annapolis, welcome back. I don't know who was at the memorial this morning, but the memorial especially, I don't think it was that big of a deal to me early on. It becomes more and more important as we put more and more miles in our wake. It was a great time. The reunion in general, this isn't a college reunion. This really is more like a gathering of the clan. You guys become more and more like family to me and my kids every year that goes by. Seeing some of the surviving spouses at the memorial service in particular, that family aspect of we're taking care of our own, I think it is an important piece. And it's something that gives me, I know, great pride in knowing, hey, if I kick the bucket, you guys are going to be there for me as a family as well. So welcome back with that. This is that class that Jack built. A couple other than Audacio in Exploratum, we have a couple other class mottos, FPCTD, a couple others like that have been bantered around once or twice. But it's really good to have you guys back. I did want to take a quick second to recognize reunion committee members for the work that they've done. Rich Clybourne, first and probably foremost. Rich has done more behind the scenes to make this weekend happen. And today's his birthday.
Hey, there we go.
Typically, Heidi would tell us, say something, and we do something for you. I'm 22, by the way.
So are we.
I'm going to make for you a ham Francisco with a can of orange. So just in honor. I can't wait. Rich has really done a lot of the lion's share of the registration work that went on, working with NAAA. They didn't have a perfect website, obviously, but that's what we had to deal with. They have gone through some ups and downs and some challenges the past year over at the Alumni Association with their IT department. I think their web service is getting much better. Their class page, I don't know if anyone else uses that as a 1982.usna.com to get your email sent to you. I use that, and it was a little spotty. Apparently, getting much better. I've got a nephew that graduated from MIT, and believe it or not, MIT has a much better, I think, web service than the Naval Academy. But it's one of the ones that we want to emulate and get better. I think as an alumni class as we go forward. So Rich has done a lot. Helped organize the golf tournament yesterday, which is a great time. About 20 folks. Helped write the watch bill. I know Ross is helping out, and a couple other guys here with the check-in for folks. And by the way, if anyone wants to help out and check in, just chip in tomorrow. If you see like a long line with people checking in, just volunteer if you would, help out and get people checked in. That would be a big help. Matt Morey was a big help, the vice president of the class, with Mike's Crab House last night. Did a great job helping organize that and get going. That was really good. Terry Benedict, one of our flag officers, did a great job this morning with the memorial service, putting that together. And again, another classmate, Greg Huffman. Greg Huffman was ordained Episcopal minister, did the service for us, and I thought it was a great touch, bringing back again that sense of family that we are back into it and doing the service and honoring our fallen classmates. And those like Vinnie Malone and others that didn't graduate with us but have since passed. Tonight, Matt Sissel helped organize the reception tonight at the museum over at the U.S. Naval Academy Museum. I'll talk about what, as a class, we did the 25th reunion. That was one of our major class projects that we helped tackle that. So you get to see what your dollars went into over at the museum. I don't know if you guys remember the old stuffed Commodores that used to be over there back when we were midshipmen, but it is completely changed. It's unbelievable, and the caterer that we've got is putting together a first-rate grand spread for us tonight. It's going to be real neat. Like I said, night at the museum. Jenny, a whole list of folks. Too many probably to Jane and who else helped out? Donna. A little bit on it. Sandy. Yep. Am I looking right? Yeah. Anyway, so everyone had helped out. So helping us put together tomorrow's reunion, the tailgate. Huge tents over there in case we do get inclement weather. I'm still hoping that everything turns out well. It's looking like we might get some scattered rain tonight, but tomorrow it's going to be sunshiny and red. No problem.
Oh, yeah.
And if not, we got a BAT to help back us up, a big-ass tent, just in case. Rhett, right-hand man. I couldn't, even though he's out on the left-hand coast, he's my right-hand man. He's Johnny on the spot with anything you need in terms of helping publicize this, get the word out to you all. We all have day jobs, and mine gets... and last but not least, I got to thank the outgoing guy, Dan Prue. Took off and bolted for Australia a year ago. But getting the pass down from Dan really helps out in terms of Dan, what works, what doesn't work. You got to get the expensive porta-john. Otherwise, the ladies will be bitching at you the whole time. So that's, yes, we got the Gucci porta-john for the mom. And that was, actually, it was more Eileen had said that. Because Eileen used to be the reunion coordinator. So it helps that she was around helping us out with that. So thanks to both of the crews for all their work. Dwayne Baptiste, Dwayne's walking around on crutches this weekend. Dwayne is in charge of the great swag that we got.
Good swag.
Yep. Good swag. Yep. Dwayne helped put all that together. Am I missing anyone else that I should be thanking here for the great work and help that they did? A lot of I gotta indulge the spouses of everyone that helped and allowing them to come off, and they put countless weekends and hours on conference calls and meetings at my house, drinking my beer, watching football, though we were working at those meetings, but helping out getting this the weekend coordinated. Quickly by the numbers, people had asked me to put something together about numbers. So 317, 1 and 1. That's what we got. So showing up here, the three-star flag officers that we've got from our class. Congratulations to John Richardson. A 4-star select. I didn't want to jinx him yet. I didn't want to put up here 1, 2, 27, 1 and 1. So I got 317, 1 and 1. Then Dave Dunaway, decoy up here. Taking, he's probably embarrassed that I put up his parade review up there. And then Michelle getting pinned on here with her, I think, husband and sister. Sister, help, yeah. Pinning on her shoulder boy. So congratulations to our latest 3 stars and 4-star select for what they've done. 17 rear admirals out of the class as well. And reserve general thrown in there into the mix as well. The 1 and 1. Mike Fierro's married to Cindy Tabo, class of 85. We claim her. That's one of them. And the second other one is Tom Trott. I don't know if any Napsters in here remember Tom. Tom graduated from Naps, did his plebe year with us, left, graduated NROTC program out of Washington, is now a 2-star supply officer in the Navy. So he's one of us. He's a alum. So we'll claim him as well. Hence, 317, 1 and 1 for us in terms of our numbers. This is not the Soviet fleet. This is DDG-82. I don't know if you all know what you do to help support the fleet. The class continues to lead and give, even though we don't have as many flag officers as we... I should point out, oh, by the way, in the audience today is the anchor man flag officer from our class, Bruce Lindsay, is sitting here. He's the... When's the wedding day?
As soon as they pin me.
Okay. Good answer. So not all of us are continuing to serve in the fleet, but we continue to support the fleet. Not sure if you knew we do an annual leadership award on board USS Lassen. She's been home ported in Japan for the past couple of years, so we haven't been able to actually present it in person. But each year it's a peer award awarded to the best JO and the best chief out of the Goat Locker. It's a peer award voted by their peers, and the winner of the award wins a $1,000 savings bond. And your class is the class that provides the financial backing
for them. It's a great award. I think that helps us really help motivate the fleet and get them to say, I want to be a better officer. And it's a nice little thing. It's a savings bond. It's not much. I'd love to be able to do more, maybe increase that to a $2,000 savings bond each year. It's not much of a commitment out of class to be able to do this. It's something that we expense every year. We don't need to, I don't think, maintain a capital campaign going forward to do this as a class we can put together and do it. We also sponsor the first company each year. And a lot of the local guys living in the Annapolis area, every weekend where there's a home game, we've got a tailgate trailer with a couple tents in the back of it. We come out on a Friday night, set up the tents, buy the food for first company. It's $5 a head. If anyone is ever in town and want to come by the 82 tailgate, the tent's always there. You're always welcome. $5 all you can eat and drink. Again, it's usually, I think tomorrow's is burgers and dogs. They're doing it on their own. We're not helping them out tomorrow, but we sponsor the first company. Any wardroom renovations, of course, that go on. They're starting a speaker award for Saturday morning training that they do there, where they want to bring in some retired Naval Marine Corps officers to talk about their experiences. And they want to tie it back to the 82nd Company. We were hoping to do something this weekend with John Richardson, but it kind of got out of hand once the Soups Protocol officer found out that a 3, soon-to-be 4-star was coming into the yard. So anyway, it got blown out of proportion. So we want to do something, again, fly under the radar, just something that ties us back, something that we give back to the first company. We've been maintaining this official, because it's through the Alumni Association that we sponsor the first company in the wardroom, through them. But do something like this, give it back to the midshipmen, make them feel that there's a connection with the alum, and keep going from there. As well as for our class, a touch point into Bancroft Hall. It goes both ways. So I don't know, Rich has been out there, a couple other folks. I get more from being around these young future officers, I think, than they probably get from being around an old fogey like me. And it's just great to be there and swap sea stories with my classmates, but also with the first company folks that are out there. It is fun to do. And yes, this is first company plebes from this past summer getting a leadership lesson.
They look young.
We did do a couple 30th major class projects this year. We've always been doing this Laura Stegman Award, but something that we wanted to do was, we're getting a little long in the tooth. I wanted to make sure this went on in perpetuity and endow this award so that the ladies each year didn't have to get together and keep scrapping to do it. So we adopted this as one of our projects to do, continue this Laura Stegman Crew Inspirational Leadership Award. It's been going on ever since we graduated, right? And it's like I said, it'll be going on forever. It's a nice engraved bowl to the most inspirational senior member of the women's crew team in Laura Stegman's honor. Another one of our classmates that we memorialized this morning. Some of the other philanthropy that you guys have been doing good deeds, as the Wizard of Oz would say. Since we graduated, we've given back to the class $1.7 million back to the class. This puts us in 4th place for the classes for the decade of the 80s. I'd love to say that we are in 1st place, 82, but we're in 4th. But it's not bad. So that's pretty good. And actually, since our 20th in 10 years, the vast majority of that has come in as we are starting to hit that plateau, I guess, of ours, our earning years. We're able to do something like that. Next number, 288 versus 400. We're still a little bit shy. Versus we pledged $400,000 to the major projects this year, including STEM labs down below. I'll talk about STEM in a little bit. One of the things that the Alumni Association is now doing is called the First Gift. And it's been going on for 2 or 3 years. The class of 2012 has pledged $20.12 out of their allotment. It's an allotment going on for the Alumni Association going on. They have over 50% of their class. These are mids, they're not even graduated yet, but they've already pledged to give back to the Academy. $20.12 a month.
A month.
A month, it's not much. So, I mean, but it adds up. Yeah. If you look at our classmates that have decided, each of us have our own financial commitments that we have to make. We tithe for the church, we do other things like that. If you decide this is something valuable that you want to do, I had a hard time. I'm a personal case, I'll tell you. I did not believe in giving back to the Academy at first. I thought that this should be run by taxpayers. There is a level of taxpayer funding that has to go on, of course. But the taxpayers, if you looked at the chapel as an example, they're not going to pay for Tiffany windows that we've got, or for the maintenance of those. There's a level of excellence above and beyond what I think anyone would reasonably expect from their taxpayer dollars that goes on into this institution. It's that level of excellence that we're hoping that people will decide, you know what, okay, that was worth, I got a lot out of this place. At least $19.82 a month, perhaps, out of here. So that's the kind of maybe commitment that you can do. Some people can't do it. Rich and I, we're fortunate to live in the area. We can come back and donate our time on Sundays as volunteers, ushers in the church. That's just, again, in the chapel, something that we like doing. If you're able to do things like that to help the class out, contact Rhett, contact me, say, hey, I want to do something. I can't do it necessarily financially, but I want to be involved with you guys. Let me know how I can do it. We'll get you involved.
They still need blue and gold officers.
Absolutely. I know a number of Rick Stein is doing it as well. I know a number of classmates are doing it, but we could always use a couple more really good folks out there. As you're walking around today, you'll see your class dollars, some of that $1.7 million in action. The space, the first thing we tackled, I think, as a class, was over at the Visitor Center. They still have the Gemini, is it Mercury or Gemini? I don't know. Okay, one of those. Over there at the actual capsule over there that we helped renovate and pay for all that. The museum renovation, you guys will see that tonight. It's really awesome. The leadership video that we put together a couple years ago. Alumni Hall support that we did as well. We'll see that in a little bit. We helped contribute to the Alumni Hall ongoing renovation support. In the chapel this morning, the chaplain's chairs that were all done were done in part by the class of 1982 as an earlier class, and also a memorial to our class out at Navy Marine Corps Stadium. One of the class arches out there is for the class of 1982. And it is if you haven't been back to the stadium, it's completely different from what you remember. And it really is a true memorial. And there's a memorial planning committee. You can't just go in there and plaster Under Armour signs everywhere you want to out there, because it is it's a memorial. So, and we keep it pristine like that. STEM, I just talked a little bit about STEM. Why STEM? Science, technology, engineering, math. I thought this as a class project would resonate with the class from a number of different areas. If you like minority programs, this is an outreach program that goes out and gets kids from all around the country, many of them minorities that otherwise never would ever hear about the Naval Academy, and brings them in and gives them exposure to the Naval Academy and to science, technology, engineering, math, and excellent sport. Gives valuable leadership experience back to midshipmen as well, to be able to say, take these young kids and shape them and teach these kids what it's like to be a naval officer and go to the Naval Academy. A lot of research projects go into it as well for the faculty and staff. Bob Ives, one of our classmates, is neck deep involved in this. I know he's busy this weekend. This is an accreditation weekend for him. So the sweat pumps are running in overdrive down there. But for them to take the time out and help show the STEM labs down there, I think was something great that they did. A couple of those other programs that they got, bringing mids in. They do off-sites as well, tutoring out in town through the STEM program as well. Some of the advanced projects that they've got going on. Summer projects that the midshipmen will also do related towards STEM, going out and doing research topics. A lot of it is pretty cool stuff. A touch back into Boy Scouts as well. Boy Scouts scouting piece of it. Summer seminar. All the summer seminar folks come in and do mini STEM STEM labs as well. The midshipmen acting as science fair judges, going out again through the STEM program, how they get identified and pushed out to the community acting like this. So it's a great outreach program for us. So.
Well, for those of us that don't live here, is there a way to get involved in other parts of the country?
Yeah, I will give you the point of contact for Professor Moran, who helps coordinate the STEM project here. But in particular, if there's stuff through your work out at one of the major laboratories that you want to help get involved with, I'm sure she would love to help do that. Whether it's with high school kids or bringing midshipmen in to help act. I know there's a number of internships that they do each summer through this and help rely on, because again, for some of these internships, the government's not going to pay for it. So they've got to rely on other ways for it, even if it's just travel to and from, to enable the midshipmen to be able to do these internships. It's great for us to be able to do that. And finally, the last part, I don't know if no, Ensign Chuck Hord tragically was lost at sea in 1908. For those of you don't, I don't think Tuck was making it this weekend, but perhaps the most notorious prank ever played in the annals of naval history was pulled off this year by Tuck Hord in the halls of the Pentagon. This sat for his portrait, which was done by his parents back in Kingsport, Tennessee, when he was a senior. Sat in, I guess a couple of copies of these were floating around Kingsport, Tennessee, and his sister brought it as a joke to his house in Virginia Beach to a party. And a couple of the British Canadian officers were there at the party, decided, wouldn't it be great if we could smuggle this into the Pentagon, hang it on the wall? And that's this little brass plate made. It said, Ensign Chuck Hord, USNA, circa 1897, lost at sea in 1908. And it sat there for years at the Pentagon on the inner ring. Years. So I was hoping that maybe tonight Tuck would show up with the portrait and he could sneak it in to the Naval Academy Museum. I had a spot all picked out there in terms of, anyway. So I'd be remiss if not recognizing also the most overqualified chain crew in NCAA history comes from the great class of 1982. Brian Gaughan, myself, and Gary Sundella hold the chains for weekends. It's another volunteer gig that we get to do. They don't pay us, but they don't have to, because it is such a blast to be able to do that and be down there with, again, a great bunch of young men and leaders of this country and see them every weekend. It is a true honor to be able to do it. So. This is your meeting, so we do have some time. They cut into the soup, wanted to start a little early over in Alumni Hall, so we got to clear out of here probably in the next 10-15 minutes or so. But if you got any questions about where the class is going, what you want to see more of, what you want to see less of, this is your opportunity really to talk about it. Next for you, Mr. Rasmussen.
I'd like to thank all of you who have been contributing to the Shipmate articles, and everybody else, bring it on in. We can use it. Thank you.
You think, you don't have stories to be able to tell, other things like that you'd like to get back to the class, but trust me, it is so hard for the corresponding secretary every other month or so to scrape whatever news he can find together. So if you hear, it doesn't necessarily have to be about yourself. If you hear about some guys from your company that are coming together, are you still looking for volunteers from the company?
I'll publish out a list. It's incomplete of company email reps. It would be nice if I had one person from each company to kind of keep track of your company mates, and in case we ever have to do a phone tree or email tree, anything like that. But it's always good to have a point of contact. And this is one case with Shipmate where it's very okay to build your classmates. So, bring it on.
So if you hear about somebody getting promoted, getting a new job, making a move, a new baby, new grandchild, whatever it is these days, please make sure Rhett hears about it so that we can get something in there. Also, one last thing before you guys leave. If you haven't been on USNA.com in a while, go in there. Update your even if you don't want to be contacted through the phone, I can't get your own. I was trying to find a classmate had made reservations out at the Marriott, but he hadn't registered yet. And so I was trying to get in touch with him, let him know. I thought there might have been a problem with his registration. Electronically, we had a couple folks that had issues with it. I couldn't get in touch with the guy because his point of contact information through USNA.com was not up to date. So if you would, just make sure that log in there, get it up to date, at least so we have an email address for you, if not an actual mailing address and a phone and other things, because that's how your classmates will keep in touch with you guys.
Yeah, and the class site at 1982.classes.usna.com doesn't tie into the database that Bill's talking about. So in order to update on our class site, you need to send an email to Andy Shelter, and that information is on our class website. But most of the classmates, if they've been updated at all, are maybe from 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So take a spin onto that website and send Andy an email with your updated email and address and bio, whatever you'd like to put on there. Share with your classmates.
And you got my card now, so just send me a note and I'll send you Professor Moran's business card so we can get that dialogue going.
The 82 Facebook page has been real helpful too, kind of what's happening.
Thank you, Rhett. That's right. We're on LinkedIn as well. I don't think we've used yahoo.com for a while, but typically, LinkedIn for more professional stuff, Facebook for more social kind of things that are going on. But it's very good to keep connected with classmates. And again, through LinkedIn, if you're in there, find out how people are marching up the corporate ladder, if you will, as we keep going along. It's kind of neat to see. Did you know that the head of Sikorsky is a classmate who is a bubblehead, but how does a bubblehead get to be in charge of Sikorsky? It's pretty cool. Very neat. Very neat. So you guys...
I don't know who organized it, but there's an unofficial yard run tomorrow.
Jerry McInerney. So you can thank Jerry. We got to kind of fly under the radar on this one, just because if the yard finds out that we're having an event, they'll have Jimmy legs out there, sirens going, everything else like that. They'll blow it up. It'll be worse than trying to get Vice Admiral Richardson to talk to just a couple of plebes.
You go. Just on that note, I work here at the Academy and I'm privy to a lot of the emails that come out. One came out this morning. The brigade is doing their PRT tomorrow from 0600 to 1100, and the Chesapeake base end of the Academy is going to be closed off for the most part.
We'll still meet in the same place. What's the chance that all of these guys from 82 just happen to show up at the same time, going a little jog around the yard? What's wrong with that? So we're kind of flying under the radar here, but we'll meet at 8, right in front of Halsey, and we're just going to go clockwise rather than counterclockwise around the yard, right? Yeah.
I did say that, Ron. We are going.
We're going to go clockwise. And so we'll run behind in the alleys, behind the chapel, and the definition of a perimeter run is kind of a loose, it's kind of like snappy casual. There are a lot of definitions of snappy casual.
More important definition of the run.
We can't run under 7:8 because that's when they take it off.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
End up like in Michigan Park.
We'll figure it out.
As our memories fade, so does the length of the perimeter.
I like that, yes.
Yeah, some of the more ambitious folks might go Hospital Point and over the bridge and whatnot.
God bless them.
So God bless them. Yeah, exactly. That's
right.
So I'll be out there with my 5-month-old puppy, and he doesn't run very fast. But neither do I. So.
Love it.
Any other questions about what the class does or what you hope it would do more of? More do less of?
You're doing good work.
As you don't know, Billy not only can he do his work in B3 for Rexel, he just took a position with U.S. Lacrosse as the
Senior Associate General Manager of the World Cup team, which will hopefully win the World Cup in 2014.
Excellent.
He's sitting down on the field tomorrow on the chains, and he's got the Twins are at Naps right now.
The Twin Boys at Naps. So
Fantastic.
It all comes around.
So how many of all of us have kids here?
Story one.
At the academy?
We should, you know what I am looking for?
In the academy. How about in the academy?
If there is a,
We have two. Ooh.
If there is an amateur historian in the group here, I would love someone to start helping put together a class history. And as I was trying to get together facts and figures, this is one of those facts and figures that I would love to be able to have.
I did a really cool thing. Our girls are Coast Guard, and so I put it out on we noticed there are a lot of class of 82 whose kids are at Coast Guard. So,
Lorenzo's.
I put out a thing when our daughter was in the 4th class, and it is just amazing the legacy of any academy to academy. Then they shut me down because they said that they didn't want other people to feel like they weren't, special. But I am into math and statistics, and I just wanted to, as a wife of a spouse of 82, I just want to say, this is a very academy-rich class for going to academies, and it's really, the Dorenzos can tell you, it's just really, I don't know what it is about this class, but our kids are very passionate about serving in any of the branches of the military. So I think you guys have a lot to be proud of, even though ours jumped ship in the Coast Guard.
Ship to a boat. Posty.
Well, what's the ratio of athletes for our class compared to other classes? Is it really high compared to other classes? Seems like a lot.
Holy cow, we got a whole bunch of them. You can't swing a dead cat in class 82 without
Do we know other
That's a
classes?
politician's answer right there. I don't know. They do have a professional statistician here that I need to get in touch with, and I didn't have time. Yeah, it would be interesting. So, in particular, the early rise, I think, of some of them. Michelle, John, making 4 stars as quickly and as young as he did.
We didn't stick to.
But, it would be interesting, again, if we had someone that would like to try to tackle this on, it doesn't have to be a full-time project, and again, it's probably an ongoing thing. If somebody wants to take it on as a class historian, to be able to start tracking this. How many guys like Bobby Sturgill, have had senior positions, cabinet positions that we've had. Dan Lynch, daughters at NAPS, there's another one, class oh, Dave, yeah, man, but help us. But, someone that could maybe help go back, have other people, this statistician that we've got here at the Academy that tracks this stuff. He tracks everything from attrition rate during plebe year of the class of 1982, regular entries versus Napsters versus foundation kids. He's got these stats that you wouldn't believe. So how many ended up staying in 20 years and make it in a career? How many continue to serve beyond? He's got all the percentages already figured out. So it's just maybe getting the right people to start doing this and document it and having it in a place. I had to put together something for the soup for his briefings to make sure that he at least knew who had registered, who's coming in, the major dignitaries that we've got, all those other things like the class officers. But I would love they asked for the class history, and I said, we are still writing it. We're still writing history. So we ain't done yet. I didn't know what else to put in there. But again, I'd love to have, if there's somebody that wants to help do that, I appreciate it.
What about next reunion?
Next reunion. So the planning for this one started 5 years ago, getting it done. The real organized, we drop in terms of priorities, where we are. We don't get priority status again until 40th. It goes like 15 or 10, 20, 25 is high up there. We drop down below 25 on a 30th, but then 40th and 50th reunions pop right back up there again in terms of priority and status. I don't think we don't get any status for requesting like venues in the yard, other things like that. So if we put in for the museum, we had pretty good, but if the 25th reunion had put in, we would have gotten bumped out of the museum in terms of status for weekends that we do it. But we got to start looking at it. You got to be very tricky about doing reunions. You don't want to do it over, a Rosh Hashanah weekend or something like that in the fall. You got to be careful to make sure that it's a good weekend. We were worried about doing it this month because of Dublin was just here. We know classmates want to go to Dublin and then come here as well, double whammy all in one month, and we were just like, oh, we got to do it. And so we committed to this a long time ago to try to do it. So putting it together is something you got to really start looking at. So, do I have a date yet? No. I'd love to do it again before the 40th and do a 35th. Yeah. So, give me a little while to digest this one. Yeah. So I think Matt has still some whip marks from the 25th, much less the 30th, that he still wants to get over. So. But I'd love to be able to do it again. And again, every weekend it's a mini reunion over in the far end of the parking lot with the 82 tent and the First Company relationship that we've got going on. Any other questions about the class or where we're going? Mr. Vice President, welcome. Any words of wisdom? Anything? Did just find that out? Yeah, they don't let the seniors take off on Friday, like noon on Fridays. It used to be great, so you could open up the yard for traffic, parking. Although the professors are all right now scattering, trying to get out of here quickly before the parade starts, so that otherwise they're stuck. You can't get out. So. Great. Well, again, welcome back. Great to have you guys. A lot going on. We have the Soups talk in a couple minutes over at Alumni Hall, parade after that, and then tonight, night at the museum. And the breadth and depth of the food, the proportions, and everything else going on for this tailgate tomorrow. Please come hungry. Don't eat breakfast. Just come hungry. So I know the ladies are having their breakfast reception tomorrow, brunch out at Harry Brown's. Eat light out there. We got anything that's left over from either tonight or tomorrow, by the way, goes to the food bank. We're doing a donation from the class to the food bank. So. Okay, great. Thanks, class.